My name is Amanda, and I am 34 years old. I work as an administrative staff member, and my career has been my main focus for many years. After graduating from college, I dedicated myself fully to my job. I started working at a major company, and over the years, I worked tirelessly to improve my skills, take on new responsibilities, and climb the corporate ladder. My hard work paid off, and after 10 years of dedication, I was promoted several times. Now, I am a division head at a relatively young age, and I feel proud of my achievements. I am also fortunate to have a supportive boss who provides me with great advice and an amazing team of talented individuals who are motivated and hardworking. My professional life has been rewarding and fulfilling, and I have found great satisfaction in my work. However, my personal life did not progress as smoothly. Since my college days, I had not been in a serious relationship. My focus on work left little time for socializing, and dating never seemed to be a priority. One day, a close friend noticed this imbalance in my life and arranged a small dinner party, hoping I would have the chance to meet new people. That evening, I met Peter. He had a kind heart, a warm smile, and an easygoing personality. Since we were the same age, we found a lot in common and had many engaging conversations. We quickly became friends, exchanged contact details, and started spending more time together outside of social gatherings. As time passed, Peter developed feelings for me and eventually expressed them. By then, I had also grown fond of him, and we decided to start dating. Our relationship grew stronger, and before long, he proposed to me. I was overjoyed, knowing I was going to marry someone I deeply loved and respected. After our engagement, I visited his parents to formally introduce myself. They welcomed me with open arms and warm smiles, making me feel instantly comfortable. Amanda, it's wonderful to finally meet you. We can't believe such an amazing woman is marrying our son, his mother said with tears in her eyes. We are so proud of him for finding such a fantastic partner, his father added. Peter, feeling a little embarrassed, laughed and told them to stop making a big deal out of it, but they only laughed and assured me it was all in good spirits. During the visit, they were curious about my career and impressed by my accomplishments. They asked if I planned to continue working after marriage, showing genuine interest in my choices. Unlike some of my friends who were pressured to quit their jobs after getting married, I was relieved to find that Peter's family was supportive of my decision to keep working. This reassured me that I was marrying into a progressive and understanding family. After our wedding, Peter moved into my apartment, and we started our new life together. Our days were filled with joy and love. We cherished the time we spent together, and I always looked forward to coming home to his warm presence. Everything seemed perfect. 7 months into our marriage, Peter approached me with a concern. He told me that his aging parents needed more support and suggested that we move in with them. Since he was an only child, he felt responsible for taking care of them. At first, I was surprised, but I understood his concern. Unlike my own situation, where my brother and his wife were living with my parents, Peter had no siblings to share the responsibility. To make the transition easier, he proposed renovating his parents' house so that we could have a separate space while still living under the same roof. This seemed like a practical solution, as it would allow us to help his parents while maintaining our privacy. The idea of living in a spacious, newly renovated home was appealing, and I agreed to the plan. Peter was thrilled, and his parents were overjoyed when they heard the news. As we discussed renovation plans and prepared for this new chapter, I felt a mix of excitement and relief. It was a big step, but I was confident that we were making the right choice for our family's future. A few weeks later, when Peter's parents visited us, they were incredibly warm and grateful. Their kindness made me feel comfortable with the idea of living together. During the visit, Peter and I discussed the cost of the renovation, which was estimated to be around $120,000. Just as I was processing this amount, Peter hesitated before making an unexpected request. He asked if I could cover the entire cost of the remodeling. I was shocked and asked him why. That's when he revealed something I had never known before. His family was in debt. They owed $170,000, and he had been struggling to manage it. This news hit me hard. Throughout our relationship and even after marriage, Peter had never mentioned this financial burden. The amount was far greater than I had ever imagined. He explained that while the debt had been small initially, it had grown over time, and despite his best efforts, he couldn't reduce it significantly. His parents, now retired and living on a pension, were unable to contribute much either. The financial strain was becoming overwhelming. I was deeply surprised and upset. I had built my life around financial stability, and suddenly, I was faced with a situation I had never anticipated. Peter, sensing my distress, made another request. He asked me to help pay off his parents' debt. He admitted that his salary alone wasn't enough to cover it and that he needed my support. He still wanted to proceed with the renovation and believed that living with his parents was the right decision. He assured me that he understood how big of a request this was and promised to repay me over time. He emphasized that he wasn't asking out of obligation but out of love for his parents. He also apologized for keeping this from me for so long. I felt torn. On one hand, I loved my husband and knew that he and his parents had no one else to turn to. On the other hand, this was a huge financial burden that could affect our future. The total amount, both the renovation and the debt, added up to nearly $250,000. It wasn't just about money, it was about trust, family responsibilities, and the future of our marriage. After much thought and discussion, I made a difficult decision. I agreed to take on the financial burden, knowing that this choice would impact our lives significantly. As I processed everything, I hoped that my love for Peter and my commitment to our marriage would help us navigate this challenge together. It was a heavy decision, but I wanted to believe that we could overcome it as a couple. I stepped into the house, unsure of what was going on. The sudden family gathering had taken me by surprise, and I had no idea what to expect. As I made my way to the living room, I assumed I would find my husband, Peter, and his parents busy with something harmless. But as I got closer, I heard snippets of a conversation that made me freeze in my tracks. "Peter, you really made the right choice marrying her. You did great. Can you believe you landed a woman with that much money just because she works for a big company? You played your cards perfectly." My stomach dropped. They were talking about me. My heart pounded as I strained to hear more. "You should be more grateful," one voice chimed in. "Oh please, you're one of the ones who racked up that debt," another person scoffed. The conversation quickly turned into an argument about money, who had spent what on horse racing and gambling. But what hurt the most was how they casually joked about how lucky they were to have me and their family as their financial safety net. They even laughed about the idea of discarding me once all their debts were paid off. The cruelty of their words sent a chill down my spine. I stood by the doorway, completely frozen. My mind struggled to process the betrayal I was witnessing firsthand. When I finally managed to pull myself together, I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and announced my presence with a deliberately loud greeting. Peter and his parents immediately turned toward me, their expressions shifting instantly into warm smiles, as if nothing had happened. "Oh, Amanda, welcome home. You've had a long day, right? Great job, let's have dinner together later," they said cheerfully, acting as if I hadn't just heard their entire discussion. Their words felt sinister now, laced with hidden meaning. I forced myself to smile back, pretending to be none the wiser. Throughout the evening, I kept up the act, hiding the storm of emotions brewing inside me. But later that night, when I was alone in our bedroom, I finally let the tears flow. It wasn't just sadness, it was the crushing weight of betrayal. I had married Peter believing in love and trust, but now I knew I had been nothing more than a means to an end. I refused to let them use me any longer. In the following months, I quietly laid the groundwork for my escape. I planned meticulously, ensuring I had everything I needed, financially and emotionally, to walk away for good. Still, I continued to play the role of the devoted wife, all while working towards my freedom. When the time was right, I confronted Peter with a shocking revelation. "I've paid off the entire $170,000 debt," I told him calmly. Peter's eyes widened in disbelief. He had never realized how much I had saved over the years. He covered his face with his hands, overwhelmed with fake emotion. "Wow, Amanda, thank you. My parents are going to be so happy about this," he exclaimed. I could tell his tears weren't real, and sure enough, within the hour, my in-laws arrived, showering me with insincere gratitude. "Amanda, you're truly an angel. We don't know what we would have done without you," they gushed. If I hadn't overheard their true feelings, I might have been touched, but now, their words felt hollow. I knew better. I had played along long enough, and I was preparing for the final act. A few days later, Peter approached me with a serious expression. "Amanda, we need to talk," he said, looking grave. "I'm sorry, but you have to leave. I have a new girlfriend now, and I'm going to live here with her. You're moving to my parents' house." His words were meant to shock me. I pretended to be confused. "I don't understand," I replied. tilting my head. He sighed dramatically. You're just not getting it. I don't need you anymore, but since you're a good breadwinner and a great housekeeper, you can stay here if you want, as long as you keep paying for things. Before I could respond, the front door opened, and his parents walked in. Peter, did you finally tell her? His mother asked eagerly, barely containing her excitement. Yeah, I told her. I wish I could have seen her face, Peter replied smugly. His parents nodded approvingly. That's the way it is, Amanda. You can stay and keep taking care of the house. Of course, we'll have to charge you rent. They all laughed as if this was some grand joke, but I had been prepared for this. I had anticipated their move, and I had one final card to play. I smiled coldly, feeling a sense of satisfaction at what was about to unfold. Actually, it's time for all of you to leave, I said calmly. They scoffed. What are you talking about? Do you really think you can make us leave? Yes, I can, I said smoothly. I paid for the renovations myself, and I've transferred the house deed into my name. That means I get to decide who stays and who goes. Their faces turned pale as realization dawned. The smugness drained from Peter's expression. But you paid off our debt. You're the one losing money here, he sputtered. Without that debt, we could have saved enough to buy another place. I tilted my head. True, you lived comfortably while I paid off your debt. But here's the thing, I didn't actually clear the remaining $110,000 of your debt. The money you saw missing from my account, I just moved it somewhere else. The debt is still yours to pay. Peter's face twisted in horror. You mean, the debt collectors will start coming again? Exactly, I confirmed. And since you admitted to having an affair and planning to divorce me for your new girlfriend, you'll be paying alimony. Oh, and I'll be suing your mistress for being involved in the affair. Peter looked panicked. But she's only with me because she thinks I have a house and money. If I have to pay alimony, she'll leave me. I shrugged. That's not my problem. I'm done here. You and your family have used me long enough. I'm cutting all ties with you. The silence in the room was deafening as the full weight of my words sank in. And just so you know, I added, I've already put this house on the market, and I'll be reclaiming through my lawyer the $80,000 I paid towards your debts. Peter and his parents stood frozen, their world crumbling before them. For the first time, they realized they had lost everything they had tried to manipulate me for. As for me, I was finally free. Free from lies, from betrayal, from their greed. It was time to start my life over, on my own terms.